Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the GNOME train.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
Well, I am Frazly, and I am joined by Burkheart.
Oh my god, there's gnomes everywhere.
And sorry, Cap told me to call you Burkhead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Cap.
How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How's it going?
Oh, it's going awesome. I'm all amped up. I'm on Skyline Chili's cheesecake, so I'm got a little bit of sugar.
Oh, man.
But you know what time it is. Before we get into the show, epic insanity. What time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently?
So our guild recently took down Mythic Inquisitor Xanish, which took us a couple weeks. So that was like a lot of work, a lot of stressful polls, and it's not a fun fight. Our guild started working on clearing Mythic Jane every week to try to get us some mounts before Shadowlands. The new patch for her is like great.
Yeah, the one where now they have a skip directly there, and you don't need to get anything to get the skip, right?
Yeah. Well, our guild has killed her once before, so I think we're still able to go talk to the NPC and just skip to the end. So that's like super exciting.
Am I correct that you are with Jason Lucas of the Starting Zones Guild?
Yeah. I'm a member of Integrity on Bailgun.
Nice. Oh, how does that feel being with like one of the ones who does a podcast about radio? I mean, that's real pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we all get a lot of the what is talking points and stuff from the show, like through osmosis and stuff. So it's just we're all very well informed.
I still remember with the Starting Zone. This is an LFR, but back when we were going through Nighthold, and they warned about the boss that was on the bridge, and I remember I was driving home and they said, "Watch out for this fight, otherwise you will die." And I was one of the only ones in LFR who did not die. I was like, the Starting Zone! Yes, thank you!
It's definitely been interesting seeing Jason take over, being part of the show. And we had Spencer in Guild for a little while, too. It was just kind of interesting to just kind of see where they're at now.
Yeah. Oh, and they have really done an amazing job teaching strats to both new and experienced players. I feel like I just said that their opening start. And this is not the Starting Zone. This is FrazlCast, but
not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor. Yeah, Jason Spencer. Do you want to talk? No, but very nice on the Mythic rating. Nice.
Other stuff. I've been working towards getting my 400 mount achievement before Shadowlands. I'm at 364.
Nice.
So I've got a little bit of ways to go. So I never have to go into Throne of Thunder ever again. That's been a nice thing. No more Blackrock Foundry, and we got Ravenlord the other day.
Congrats!
It's been an interesting couple weeks.
Have you heard of the site telsa-productions.co.uk?
No.
It is a new site that Pete of Stories on Azeroth told me, and it is a simpler version of Simple Armory, like very nicely laid out. And I've been using that now when I'm going through mount runs because they will have a guide on different things. Yep. And today it helped me get the Amani Warbear.
Definitely gonna have to check that out because like I use Simple Armory and I kind of pick and choose like, hey, I need to do this and I need to do that.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. One thing I noticed because Spaz put it in Discord, it has a check mark like how many expansions, and Spaz is now at the place where he just has Mists and Draenor left. It's still stuff past that, but he's been going through every single expansion, so he's like, well, I only have a few left. I'm like, Spaz. Well, of course, he's Range of Azeroth, so he would already be that far.
Nice.
So, amount collecting and raiding. What else have you been up to?
Oh, the other day I watched Knives Out for the first time.
Oh, so good.
It was a really good movie. I definitely enjoyed it, and the twist at the end was great. Like twist of the knife, yeah.
That was one that I missed in theater, but as soon as it came out, I was waiting for it to come out on digital. And
yeah, that was almost our yearly Christmas film, and we decided to go with something else.
I mean, there were so many good choices at Christmas, so I can understand why. We saw the Rise of the Skywalker. I remember that's why we didn't see Knives Out.
I think that's what we went and saw, actually, too.
Which, that wasn't a bad ending. Like, it had its ups and downs, and I don't want to say any more, otherwise I'll get the fan mail about Rise of the Skywalker.
We don't talk about the last 3 movies.
Yeah. But you know, one movie though that I want to bring up because it was really, really good. I had seen people talk about Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler movie where he's serious. And I have to say, wow. I've always known Adam Sandler as like the funny man and all that. And like, I'm singing to you as a wedding crasher. The 50 And he was amazing. He plays this jeweler who has the break of a lifetime. That's the synopsis because I don't want to say any more, but it's on Netflix. It was amazing. I started watching it Saturday morning, could not stop watching it. And it was nice getting that break for it, but wow. It's one that I've heard is controversial in the ending, but I liked the ending. I thought it was really good.
I'll have to check that out.
And I also did some movie research and watched Reservoir Dogs. I have never seen that one.
Yeah, that was a good film.
Like, I did not realize it was Quentin Tarantino's first film. And I even watched like what some of the behind the scenes, like what it meant and different things. And wow, Quentin Tarantino's, even for his first film, hit it out of the park.
Yeah, definitely.
The one who brought like Kill Bill and stuff like that, which I also need to see. Anyway, moving on. And wow, I finally have the Dreadwaste and Loremaster and Mr. Midari. So just the Town Long Steps and Krasarang Forest left, and I will be finally a Loremaster. And wow, I'll join all the other Loremasters. There's an annual meeting that we do every summer, I've heard, about the Loremaster. We have Deckard Cain will come out and all that because he's no longer in Diablo, so he comes over to WoW and stay a while and listen to the lore of World of Warcraft. I'm sure Ali and Jen and Fira all have Loremasters, so I'm sure they've all been to the meeting and all that, but I'm catching up.
Yeah, I'm sure they have matching shirts.
Yes, I have matching shirts. I had a joke that would fit more than your podcast. I'm sure they've said it, and I'm sorry. Probably wars for lore. I don't know. Anyway. And wow. Somebody tell Jen and Fear that, but or Jen will say that. I need that as shirts. Razor has sent me a really cool mount this week. It is the Sapphire Panther. It is this blue panther. It shimmers and stuff like that. Oh, it is gorgeous. It's like, I love it. Thank you, Raz. Thank you so much. I love blue shiny things. Maybe it's my ADHD, but like when it's shiny, it's like, ooh. And maybe I'm a gnome too. We like shiny things.
Gnomes are like magpies then, huh?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And you know what is a shiny thing that every kid loves is gaming. And I want to know, how did you get into gaming?
So my household's always had a console. I think my first console of our household was a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Ooh, one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah, I remember my mom playing just the regular Super Mario Brothers at the time. Like, just very basic memory. Like, I was a little kid. Fast forward a little bit. One of my earliest real memories was actually my dad and I would get up early for Saturday morning cartoons, and we'd watch the X-Men animated series. He's a big X-Men guy. And when we were done with the show, we'd go and boot up the Super NES, and we'd play, I think it was X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. And so we'd sit there and we'd play. It was always kind of fun because we could always play as like Beast and Wolverine and stuff, and we always made fun of Cyclops. And so we've always kind of had that. And eventually we got a computer. Like, we got one of those really basic compact Prerserios everybody had in every house.
Yeah. Was that about 2000?
No, pre-2000.
Okay, because I got one of those in 2000. That was actually our first computer, was a compact.
Oh, nice. I think it was pre-2000 because I remember us playing, so we played Mech Warrior. My dad got me into Mech Warrior 2, and he got me into Command and Conquer. He got me into RTSs, like pretty early on, and there was some shooters and stuff, like all the old Westwood titles, like the Delta Force games. And
oh, yeah.
I think that was a little bit later. I think that was about 2000. It's actually kind of how I got into Blizzard games. Is like one summer I got sent out to my uncle's house, and I had to spend like a couple weeks with him, and he had a computer, and he was like, well, I don't have like the games you normally play, but I have these ones. And he had Warcraft 1, and Warcraft 2 was out at the time. And then I also got the chance to play StarCraft and StarCraft. I think I don't know if he had Brood War yet or not, but that was kind of my intro to Blizzard. Was kind of when I went out and visited my uncle for the summer, and then I would hang out with friends and we'd play like Diablo and Diablo 2 later on.
What captured you the most about the Blizzard games?
I just really liked the story for the most part. They always had a bit more heart and stuff. I really liked the trolls in Warcraft. I thought they were like some of the coolest units, and I think that's part of the reason why eventually when World of Warcraft came out, I rolled a troll. Is I really just enjoyed, I liked the units. I was really bad about spamming the units, even though they weren't the best for some of the situations. But there's like, oh, you're a little kid, and like, oh, these are cool, you know?
That's why when I played Warcraft 3, I kept dying because I went for the units I thought were cool. And then like Michael stomps in and he's like, oh, hey, Fraz, bye.
And then like you got into like the Darkspear Trolls stuff in Warcraft 3. And I really liked their story, and they were very interesting, and you didn't really see too much of that in like video games at the time. So I think that's why I kind of gravitated to them.
And that was the one where they really doubled down on the, I don't want to say cartoony, but the art style of WoW in Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Had the really cool cutscenes too.
Yeah. For at the time, you're like, oh, this is cool. Like, you look at it now, it's like, oh, these held up okay.
Yeah. I think there was like one like human NPC that I saw the portrait was like, yeah, that's human seen better days. Yeah. I'm not going to be like UGLY. You ain't got no alibi.
Well, it's funny when you go back and play anything it has some age to it, and some stuff holds up pretty well, and then some it's like, remember you being a lot better.
It's always weird nostalgia because like some of the stuff that I played, I still can't get over the nostalgia, but some of the stuff I never played, I'm like, I played a little bit of that one. Wasn't really nostalgic for it. That looked like garbage.
I think a big offender, for me was going back and playing Oblivion.
Oh,
and
yes.
I didn't remember how bad the dialogue was.
Especially like what we got with Skyrim. Because I know Skyrim was a little different, even in Oblivion, but Skyrim was so open-ended and had its graphics, even with that remaster edition, looked really good.
Yeah.
You made a really cool senior art project.
Well, it's funny. So I transferred partway into my senior year, and because of me coming in late, a little bit, this is 2004. You can date me a little bit that way. My senior project. So I moved, and they were like, well, because of you transferring, we're not going to require like a certain senior art for like a base. And it was different because like the credit system was different from Virginia when I moved from Virginia to Washington State. So like one side of the country to the other. I had different credits and stuff. And so my senior project, they let me do it through an elective. So I ended up taking a stained art class. It's funny because like I only needed like 2 or 3 credits to graduate that year. So they wouldn't let me just take those 3 classes and go home. So I had a bunch of office aids, and I had aid classes, and I had a bunch of like stained art, like art and stained glass and art classes, and it was fine. Like I learned how to file that year. But so I was working on my senior project, and I had made something like my first couple weeks there. It was actually a Master Chief helmet in stained glass. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. I mean, this is like 15 plus years now. At the time, I was like really enthralled with Warcraft 3. I was talking with my teacher, like what I wanted to do. And they're like, oh, hey, well, for your project, I want you to do stuff with sandblasting as well as some of the just cutting the glass and doing some of these other things, like a bunch of challenges stuff for like, it's my senior project. I was like, okay, cool. And I decided I was going to make one of the troll spear throwers for my senior project. I drew out the design. So I'm in the process of like designing this. And one of my friends that I just met at the time sees it and goes, hey, you get in World of Warcraft in a couple of months. Well, it wasn't even a couple months. It was like a month and a half away. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, they've got the Warcraft 3. And so he told me about World of Warcraft, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, definitely can see myself playing that, you know, but the problem is I don't have a pre-order. I don't have any of this other stuff. He goes, oh, don't worry. My mom works over at Fred Meyer. She's going to set my copy aside. If you want one too, we'll set yours aside, and I'll be able to pick it up the first day. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Nice.
I had just finished my project before November, and I was able to get my copy of World of Warcraft.
Do you remember your first character that you rolled?
I rolled my first one ended up being a troll warrior, and it didn't see level 5. I decided I wanted to play a hunter. I made my troll hunter, and I leveled that to 60.
Is that a troll hunter still around?
No, unfortunately not. I wish he was.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who somehow got rid of their early characters. I've only got like one character from my vanilla days.
Yeah. No, I purged some characters at one point, and I don't know. I kind of regret not having him anymore, but at the same time, it's like I haven't played a hunter in a long time.
Yeah, you've got one shot. If you don't like it, it's hard to. So your playstyle, you mentioned raiding and mounts. What would you say your playstyle is in WoW?
I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore raider anymore. I don't know. I wouldn't even say I'm a casual raider anymore. I'm kind of like somewhere in between. Consistent raider, I guess.
I have to say, doing Mythic, that is a really good achievement.
It definitely is a lot of work, and it's a matter of consistency is for the most part with raiding. A lot of it is just repetition. Like sometimes you just have to throw yourself at the boss for hundreds of times, so till everybody kind of gets it. Unfortunately, like a boss like Mythic Xanish, unfortunately, if anybody familiar with the Xanish fight, you know you have to kick the balls and you play soccer basically. Well, on Mythic, if the orb touches any like the pylons or the walls or anything, it wipes the raid. There's a lot of 30-second wipes with Xanish, and you can't have the same groups go more than once. So you have to train up 3 or 4 groups. And it's not an exact, like the kick order, like the kicks are for each time are the same every time, but it can vary from like side to side. And it's a matter like stuff like that is just everybody getting it. And I think that's why it was such of an annoying fight. But like, I wouldn't say all in all, other than like that, raiding's just a lot of just muscle memory and just learning by doing.
Yeah. And definitely that team camaraderie, because that's one thing I've seen every team I've talked with. There's a feel to your team.
Oh, absolutely. I was in a raiding guild in Wrath of the Lich King, and unfortunately, like the guild's not around anymore. And I would say we were a hardcore raiding guild. We were very successful, but the problem I had with the guild was we all kind of hated each other.
Oh.
Like the ego, like when we got into raid, we were fine. We'd get through and do the boss fights, but you run into problems where like the egos would get in each other's way outside of raiding, and it wasn't like a great environment. I'm very grateful I'm in the guild I am now. I mean, it's just at the time that's what I thought raiding was and stuff, and it's definitely better to be in a healthy raid environment and a healthy environment and enjoy the people you raid with.
Yeah, like an office, because you don't want your office to be a toxic environment.
Oh, absolutely not.
What would you say is one of your favorite gaming memories?
So I got a couple. I'll talk about the gaming one first. In Burning Crusade, I was with this. It was before I jumped into hardcore raiding. We were in this kind of fun guild, and one night we decided we want to kite the pit commander from Hellfire Peninsula to Adal. And if you've ever gone out to Hellfire Peninsula, you come in through the dark portal, and there's that giant green guy.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, if he stepped on you, you died. And he had his friends. We called them Bubba and Sam, the Fell Reavers that used to walk around. There's like 5 of us, and we were pulling the pit commander through there, and you have to keep like constant damage on him so he doesn't leash and stuff. And at one point, we picked up Bubba. So we had the Fell Reaver along with the pit commander at one point. And so we're just like, oh, it's fine. And we're like, oh crap, we can't take him through Terrakar Forest because he would leash when he went down that thing. So we had to take him through Zanger Marsh. And so we taken the pit commander for a walk. And you'd see these people who are questing out in the zone, and they go, what in the name is happening? And you're getting these weird like messages throughout the time, and finally we get into Shat, and all the guards engage the pit commander, And so it keeps the aggro going. And so we kept taunting him. And eventually we parked him on top of a doll. And he's just raining fire, killing everybody. The Fell Reaver's coming in, making all of his noise while everything's happening. Mass hysteria. And we're just standing there. And I'm just like, I wish I got the other Fell Reaver.
Stuff like that you don't see much anymore. The closest I ever came to recently was on War Master Cord. I was in the city and someone had got one of those potions, turn themselves into a demon and be like this giant one. Then they're like staring down and doing /yell.
You don't actually see that stuff too much anymore. Played Horde back for up until Missapindari and used to see people kite. It's the blue dragon from Shara, and you just kite him into Orgrimmar. I'd also see people like in the bronze dragons from Daenerys. That was a fun one to see people kite across like the barrens and him going up the elevator. You couldn't go up the elevator. You had to go up the little path up the side and go through the quill bores. That was always like really fun to watch.
Oh wow! Yes, over Daenerys 1,000 needles and then up. Wow.
Yeah. My other real fun memory is from BlizzCon, actually. So a couple years ago, I went to the CTR party.
Yeah.
I'm not actually a member of CTR. Sorry, guys. But Jason and I went down into the CTR party. They do it in like a bowling alley normally. And so we're going out there and Jason introduced me to Silverbolt.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So Silverbolt and I talked D&D for about an hour and a half.
Nice.
So it was an interesting situation because we just kept talking and then eventually I looked at my watch. I'm like, we've been standing at the same spot for like an hour and a half.
That's the magic of BlizzCon. I remember I was in the courtyard with like Tosh, Hawkeye, Trendane, and I think at one point Ali was there. Ali was there at one point. I mean, just different people, and you're like, oh wow, we missed like 5 panels, but we had a great time.
Yeah, BlizzCon's a great time, and it's all friends you hadn't met yet. And
yeah,
I'm sad that we're not having it, but at the same time, it's the times. I'm okay with us taking this year off.
Yeah, I even saw that TwitchCon San Diego decided to cancel. As you've said, like your group got sick last year, and people I know got sick. I did not get sick this last time. I don't know. Maybe that was just like the RNG of the first BlizzCon.
Yeah, it was funny this year. Last year, I was waiting in line to go get my badge or my statues, and I ran into Allie. And then I kept running into Allie throughout BlizzCon. And then I met Harlow actually waiting to get inside the Mythic stage, which was kind of like, it's just funny when you, I'm like, I saw you because I went to the canceled Beers Fall thing the night before, and I had to get up like super early. So I hung out with everybody, and I saw Harlow talking with Jen, and I didn't know who she was, and it was fun. So my BlizzCon routine every year is I get up super early, I stand in line, we get good seats, and it's worth it, even though I get like 3 hours sleep that night.
I can't recall. I think we did run into each other. I think
I barely missed you because I think I asked Jason about it and I just missed you.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I in my head all these people want to meet, and then I remember this on the episode before and said think of all the people you're going to meet, and you realize you only meet like 1/3 of those. I was like, I was thinking, oh no, how bad can it really be? I mean, it's BlizzCon. Nope. There's a lot of people I did not end up meeting. I met an old guildie there. It was like, oh yeah, I remember you. So, and I took a lot of selfies. I had one selfie with Taryn Gregory that did not take. So, Taryn, I'm coming for you next time. We're going to get a selfie next time, even if I don't know if we'll be able to hug next time. But if I have to, I'll hold my arm out and we're going to get a selfie, Taryn. But yeah. I remember Thist had said take as many pictures as you can. So everybody, I said, hey, can we do a hug or a selfie? I have all these, and it is nice going through my list and be like, I met them. The issue is it's hard putting names to faces. I knew you when I saw you there, but I don't know who you are. What I want to do next time is get a badge and like wear stuff, because I realize no one expects a 6'6". No.
See, we just need to dye your hair the same color as your as Frazly and get you like a big t-shirt with your face on it.
Oh yes. I'm definitely gonna do the t-shirt, and the hair is coming this year, I hope. I'm afraid, like I'm hearing all this stuff on hair care and hair protection. Do you know a place though that I can be my size is, other than WoW, I can be my size in D&D. you've told me that you are a fan of D&D.
Yeah, I've played for, I guess if you add DMing as well as playing, I've been playing for 7 years, and I've been DMing 5 of that 7.
Oh, nice. How did you get into D&D?
Well, it's something I always kind of wanted to get into. Unfortunately, growing up, my folks definitely we forbid this. And we had just moved, and I was working at this other place, and my coworker and I would talk about fantasy novels. And eventually he goes, "You play D&D?" He just assumed I played D&D as well. Asked what I played and stuff. I'm like, "Dude, I've never played." So he's like, "Oh, we do. I run the game. We're looking for a new member." And I'm like, "Cool, I'm down to check it out." And so we'd play on Sunday nights, and then I'd go into work at 4:30 in the morning. It was kind of like burning the candle at both ends, but I loved it. Yeah. I don't know. And then after that campaign had completed, I would talk about it during raid and stuff like that. And we had interest in guild. They're like, "Hey, there's 5 of us. We want to play. We down to play a D&D game." And I'm like, I could probably DM. So here I am. And we're on campaign 5, and our games run a year long.
Nice.
It's been great. And it helps when you're a raider and you want to play D&D because you're used to a set schedule and stuff. So the last 4 campaigns were almost every week. There's people who kill to play as much as we do. And it's been great. This year we decided to, because of scheduling stuff, we decided to split, do bi-weekly. And it's been good because this campaign, I've decided I was going to make my own world and, making my own backstory, my own lore. It took me 6 months in the background to do. And just sitting there drawing out the map and coming up with what's going on in the world, the amount of research I had to do just to kind of make everything work right. It took a long time to do.
How did that feel, seeing people play something that you made?
It's a good feeling. 2 months ago, they were in a frozen tundra, and they met a man, and he's living out in the frozen waste by himself. And he has this visitor that comes and hangs out with him and stuff. And she's actually a dragon that comes into human form and hangs out with him. He's dealing with some issues and stuff. But the dragon, affectionately known as Charlie. So Charlie is a juvenile white dragon, and she's trying to protect her area. Problem is, this silver dragon's kind of moved in, and he's trying to take her territory and stuff. So the party meets Charlie. They fall in love with Charlie. Events happen, and Charlie gets her wings broken, and they're not able to heal the damage that happens to Charlie. They end up killing the silver dragon that did all this. But the party goes, "All right, we're going to do everything in our power to get you better." It's a moment where a character is just kind of supposed to be this introductory character for a session or two, has become this every session. "Hey, how are we going to do? What are we going to do this week to try to help Charlie get this moved along?" It's beautiful.
I bet it involves a lot of improvising. You're yes, we're going to do this.
So with my group, I've learned that you can't plan too far ahead. In D&D, you can set, especially when you build your own world, and it's not so much when you play out of a book, one of the modules or stuff, it's on rails and stuff. But you can decide, "Oh yeah, there's this giant fortress that's up the hill," and they can be "I want to go check out that mountain behind us."
I've heard that. I've had a lot of D&D DMs tell me that you're "No, but you guys, it's really cool thing over here. Might want to go there."
Yeah. You get really good at improvising, especially if you've DM'd for a little while.
What would you say is one of your favorite characters?
So as a player, I have 2 characters. One, Burke, goes off of my name. He was a necromancer, bit of a criminal. He faked his own death so he could go shopping. And then I had a kobold bard by the name of Velicor that I really enjoyed playing for the couple sessions the game lasted. But as a DM, one of my favorite characters, it was 3 campaigns ago, it was a goblin named Marmalade. The group attached themselves to Marmalade. He was a goblin engineer, and at one point, it occurs to one of the party to go, "Marmalade, why do you only have 2 fingers on one of your hands?" He goes, "I'm not very good."
What advice would you give to those wanting to DM?
Do it. Something I've always been really bad with is I get in my own way when it comes to things. If you want to do something, get out there and do it. There's so many resources out in the world, and you don't have to have a pile of books like I do. You don't have to have like a ton of dice. You don't need all of that. You know, you don't have to run a module. As long as you have like an idea in your head and you have people in front of you, or even like Roll20 has a great way to find people. And like there's new groups constantly looking for DMs because there's people who they don't have the spark, they don't have the fire to do it. Just get out there and do it. Like, and if you don't like it, it's okay. You can go be a player. Nobody's going to get mad at you for doing that. And like, just do what you want to do.
I've never DM'd, but it sounds like being a podcast host and just doing it. That's been my mantra that I love about just do it.
Yeah.
As Scruffy says, do the thing.
I hate this quote, Shia LaBeouf, but sometimes you just need to put yourself out there. That's all DMing is. A lot of it is you're improving, and the more practice you have with it, the better you'll get. If you have to have the book open with you for the first sessions to learn, as you're going through it, I recommend you read the book. Read the rules before you start, but you're not going to learn all of them by heart sometimes. And if you're playing the newest edition of it, often if it makes sense for a person to roll of it, it's often the right call. They've made the new editions like super easy to run and stuff. So don't let yourself get in your own way.
And something else that takes practice and takes just doing it, and you won't get it right the first time, is streaming. And you and I share a common bond of loving to stream. How did you get into streaming?
I got into streaming because at the time, rating wasn't inclusive. It was during, I think, Cataclysm when I started like really getting into when I started kind of streaming as a little bit of a hobby. Let's put it this way. I think when you look at like numbers from back in the day, like I think less than 1% of the WoW population saw Sunwell. Right now, WoW is like the most inclusive it's ever been. I've been grateful to be a part of raid groups and being able to see that, but not everybody has. It was a way for me to show people what raiding was. I really enjoyed it when I first came out, and like I wish I hadn't have gone on and off and maybe just pursued it at the time, because I wonder where I'd be if I had.
Yeah, I've got the same thought because I've done off and on streaming since 2015, only really since 2018, and I'm there with you. I'm like thinking like, where would I be now if I had kept with that?
Definitely.
With streaming, one thing that I know that a lot of people fear is that fear in that little voice in your head. But how did you overcome that?
I still have it from time to time. Like there's days where I'll get raided by somebody and they'll have a bunch of people, and it's like, okay, pull yourself together. We're fine. We can do this.
Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of it just comes down to, are you enjoying this? I usually play games I enjoy and stuff like that. And so I try to feed that into the game and the stream too. And sometimes you just have to crit and bear it, and you'll get past it. I think everybody gets a form of stage fright, and it's definitely not uncommon and stuff. Like I was really bad about public speaking at one point, and my grandfather just kind of told me like, sometimes you just got to get up there and do it.
Yeah. I'm amazed. I had to do a presentation last May in front of a podcast group, and streaming was one of the things that was like, oh, I'm actually less scared in front of the like 15 people in the group because I can be in front of who knows how many people online. Why do I have to be afraid? I mean, because streaming is a much bigger arena and so global. Like the people all across the world that are there, people in Australia, EU, all across the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of people behind that sometimes.
Yeah. And yeah, keeping that energy, why are you doing it? You love it. And that you're making reading accessible, keeping that focus in your mind.
Yeah, definitely. Just remembering why you're doing this, and you're doing it for the right reasons. Some people, oh yeah, you stream, you're making a lot of money. Like, no, I don't do it for that. I do it to make friends, and I do it to meet people, and you meet a lot of people streaming, and you see them pop in the chat. You're like, hey dude, what's going on, man? How was your week?
Yeah. It's like a family.
Definitely.
Because I mean, you've popped in my stream quite often. I'm like, hey, Burkheart, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone was asking me today if I've been socializing out in the public. And I'm like, well, I haven't been socializing outside. I've been socializing inside. And they're like, well, I hope you get out. I'm like, I've got plenty of people I'm talking with. I'm not like being antisocial. In fact, I'm being very social.
Yeah, it's funny how much the stigma is about the gamers that they think we don't socialize and stuff. Like, listen, I talk to like 30 people a day. What is your excuse?
Exactly. Yes. I mean, what am I doing right now? I'm talking with you, and we got people in chat and people that are going to be listening at home. So, I mean, we are very social.
Exactly.
What would you say is the best thing that's happened to you since you've started?
Meeting people, meeting new communities, being a part, like here, I mean, being a part of this. It's fun. It's getting outside the box and getting outside your bubble and trying to become more than what you are. And I think it's definitely fun to have just put yourself out there and being able to like put yourself in different situations that you wouldn't normally be in.
And isn't it fun when you have that moment and something goes right in the game and you're like, yay, people are here to be able to see me, and like they're able to cheer along with you.
Great when you get that mount you're after and you throw your chair back and you're like, yes,
finally. And next year's Drake, whoa, 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 whoa. And hopefully this week, Invincible. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's every week. You're like, invincible. And then you're just like,
yeah. Philly, it's nuts this week. And one thing that I know as creators, we want to get better, and we have goals that we're working toward. What is a goal that you are aiming to achieve in streaming this year?
It's funny because it actually doesn't involve streaming.
Oh,
my goal for this year is actually to do more content creation for YouTube. And
nice.
To do it to promote and bring in through a different market. The problem is when you stream rating and stuff, you're doing a lot of the same stuff over and over. It's a matter of figuring out what you want to do, and so that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I play a lot of different other games and stuff, and so I'm like, yeah, I could do that, but at the same time, it's just kind of trying to figure out what kind of content I want to put out like on a weekly basis to try to bring people in.
And finding out like what makes you unique and something that you can put the hours and hours of video editing, because like I'm always amazed at video editing. John Horseman put out an amazing video on the Elgato Wave. And if you've not seen it, search John Horseman Elgato Wave, and talking with him, hours go into a video. Yeah. And you've got to be passionate about what you're making that video about.
Yeah, and you definitely have to enjoy what you're doing. And so it's like, oh, hey, I could make like Hearthstone stuff. But then when people come in, they're like, why aren't you playing Hearthstone? You're playing WoW. Like, well, I do kind of everything.
Yeah.
You know?
WoW is my main game, but I play other games too because I want to keep my sanity a little bit, not just be all WoW. I used to be all WoW, and I was married to WoW. That was like episode 12 of FrazlCast. Yeah, very nice. And keep me updated on the YouTube, because that's something that I want to get into as well. So I want to hear your journey. And when we bring it back again, I want to be able to be like, hey, how's your YouTube journey been?
Yeah, it's going to be like, well,
I think
maybe.
even that part is definitely there too. Because, yeah, we have ideas, and I'm always positive that they will work out. But like, I've got one project that I was like, I was going to work on it October of 19. Yeah,
we all have our little projects that get sidebarred, and you're just like, well, I should probably get to that.
Is it already July? Oh, wow. Holy carp.
But you were going to do that 2 years ago. It's like, oh no.
Yes. What would you say is a hidden pitfall that prevents people from succeeding in streaming?
I think a lot of it comes down to a couple things. Hidden pitfall is, I think, is just doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
People, I think there's a lot of folks out there who are starting streaming like I'm going to be the next ninja and all this other stuff. Well, there's 1,000 other people who want to be the next ninja. Well, sorry, there's more. There's like 50,000 more people who want to be the next ninja. And they're going to see that looking at your numbers when they like somebody pops in, and they're going to be all like, they're going to be like, oh, why is nobody watching me? I'm like, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And like, be grateful for everybody that comes by and hangs out with you. And yeah, not everybody's going to talk in your chat, but somebody's spending the time to come visit you. And there's people who don't appreciate that.
Yeah. That's something that I've definitely been like working against, is that wanting more and more and more numbers. Cause it to me, it's almost like money sometimes. Is if you're chasing that, you'll never have enough. And the Greatest Showman, I remember the song, will never be enough. Barnum gave her everything, and it was not enough.
You just can't have that attitude.
No.
Especially since it just bleeds into your stream.
And one thing I got that I've read is it's organic, that like you will grow at your pace, but people keep working at it for many, many years. You've got to have that drive. And it's also why I see the genius of the Twitch partner, because a lot of us who are affiliates want partner. And there's the genius of the 75 consecutive. It is demoralizing. Some days you're like, I'll never be there, but I see why. They want the ones who are going to keep at it for the right reasons.
Right. Those people didn't just have it given to them either. Well, most of them probably, but a lot of these people had to work really hard. And the partner program used to be very difficult to get into, and it still is. Like it's only gotten harder to get into. And you see these people, some of these folks that have been streaming forever. So with Stu Swifty, Swifty's been streaming forever. That man works incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And he's grateful to his community. He has such a good personality and stuff. I love Swifty. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
You do have folks out there that aren't grateful for what they have, but it's what it is.
That's a pitfall I've seen people get swept up by, not just in streaming, but like in podcasting as well. I mean, if numbers validate you as your only validation, then yeah, it's not going to sustain.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to ask, I've not asked streamers and podcasters this. What does your setup look like?
So you see my backdrop?
Yeah.
I built that a couple weeks ago because I wanted to clean up my thing. For those listening, I have basically a curtain behind me with some PVC pipe skeleton underneath it, because don't be fooled, when you stream, you don't have to go out and buy the best stuff.
No.
Like a thing like this, if you bought it from like Elgato or somebody like that, would cost like $200. I built it for $40. And the most expensive part was the PVC pipe. I got an L-shaped desk recently so I could deal with the tennis elbow I get from raiding and playing video games. Got my PC over here. I keep my desk pretty clean when it's not covered in dice or books or everything else. The other day I was doing D&D prep while I was streaming, and I had like a stack of like 8 books sitting right here. It doesn't help when you have the D4s laying around, and so you're like stabbing yourself while you're trying to play.
Oh yeah, like ow, yeah. It sounds like me with like all my different Bean Boozled canisters all around, and like my sour pickle balls. I've got like my tiny hands. It's hard keeping a clean setup sometimes.
Yeah, I have my Go XLR on the desk. That was a recent addition. I ran through the thing where I wanted to upgrade. Like I was going to invest a large portion of money into my setup, and you don't have to always have, like I said, you don't have to have the best stuff. And like no. I pick and choose which upgrades I'm going to get when I can set aside the money to do it. And it would happen to have been a time where I could do it. I was going to either get a nice camera, or I was going to get a nice microphone and a nice XLR stuff. And I decided that it was more worth it for me to just go with the better audio, because for the most part, you're here to watch the game. You're not so much to watch me personally.
And wouldn't you agree that the XLR, the routing part has been like, that's a secret sauce?
Definitely. It's been nice to have everything at my fingertips. Like just being able to mute like, let's say Vent or Discord or, Mumble. They're like my music's too high, so I bring it down, or the game music's too high, or even if I'm too high, or let's say somebody comes in the room and I want to hold down the microphone mute so it doesn't, like, everybody doesn't hear my conversation, or when Rebel decides to pop in and howl and greet the universe, I can turn down the mic so yes. the good pupper can sing his song and everybody won't go deaf.
I am so thankful for the mute button on this, especially when I either sneeze or when I have to pass gas. I'm like, okay, there we go. Hey,
there you go. Another thing, I have my mic off to the side. I'm actually lucky that I'm able to get away with not running a shock mount, because I'm running it off of my bookshelf where I keep all my D&D books, so it doesn't bounce. So I'm able to get away with some stuff, and got a nice little cheap ring light that I've gotten by to help with make the cheap webcam look better. Pick your battles.
Yeah, it's over time. Like I remember, I've seen the setups by Harris Heller and stuff like that, and they say, yeah, you start one piece at a time, because you get what you need to get started. You keep adding. I've done this stuff over time, and thankfully, because I don't have a romantic partner or kids, I can invest here and there.
Yeah, I don't have any kids myself, and I'm able to kind of set money off to the side, and when I hit kind of thresholds, I go, okay, what do I want to get?
Yeah.
And I prioritize certain things, like a recent addition that'll be here soon, TM, is I picked up a capture card so I could play some PS4 games on stream, but or Animal Crossing, which I've had some requests for some reason.
And you're going to pick up some amazing people on that, because I've heard there are some people who only watch Nintendo streams. So if you want to catch some cool people, like I think Biggest Bennis does Animal Crossing, and I think they just got affiliate or partner. But yeah, like that game is such a chill game, and just like put on a little bit of like either Animal Crossing music or Pretzel Rock's chill. Have you listened to Harris Heller's chill beats?
I listened to his stream beats, and I listened to his I think he's got Gold out recently.
Oh yes, Gold is so good. Yes.
I saw something on Twitter the other day where he was talking about doing like who's interested in some uncopyrighted synthwave music.
Oh yes, Harris, yes, synthwave. I love synthwave. You hit something that I love too. On webcams, a $16 ring light. It might be a little more expensive right now because of the times, but yes, definitely get a $16 ring light, because it is a really good thing. And yeah, these cameras, they just need light.
It's amazing how much just a little bit of money, like not even like a lot of money, like I said, I think this thing was $16.
Yeah.
It does the job.
That's why I'm excited today with the Elgato Wave. Like you and I have been looking at that, and like I've been looking at reviews, and I like that there's a option between the Go XLR and the XLR mics to be the Elgato Wave. From what I've seen, it sounds good, and it does a lot of the routing of a Go XLR. So if you're in the market for something, there's now a successor to the Yeti.
Definitely. I just hope it doesn't pick up everything. Like I
hope so too.
I had a Yeti up until recently, and without like heavily compressing everything, like you could hear what my neighbors 3 doors down were talking about. You know,
I have hope, because Harris Heller today showed audio of like his on-camera mic. He had fans going, and then when it went into the Wave, there was no stuff there. But I don't know if his editor Sam was doing any magic sauce, because his editor is amazing. I wish I had the Sam.
And one day you'll get yourself your Sam.
Yes, one day. Well, I want to thank you for coming out today, because I don't have a Sam, so I'll be the one editing this. So I want to thank you for joining me on FrazlCast. I've been looking forward to this. I always love talking with friends, and we have not had a chance to sit down one-on-one like this before. And now I feel like we're even closer. I mean, I can give you a high five through the video.
Video high five.
Yeah. So where can we find you on the interwebs?
So you can find me at Burkheart, BURKHERT on Twitch, and I'm at Burkheart Gaming on Twitter. I don't use it too often. Streamlabs OBS uses it more than I do. Okay. Yeah. Because it definitely shouts, "Oh, hey, he's going live." That's the only 2 places you can find me, unless you want to track me down on USA Bailgun / Doomhammer server.
And you're also on the Sparkspans Discord, so you can find that at sparkspans.com.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was cool today while we were talking about the Wave. It was cool having different people come in, like you, Pete, Scruffy. It was cool to be like, I love this. We're having a discussion. Well, with this, I'm gonna wave so I can Elgato out of here. For our audio listeners, she just said, "Oh wow."
I'm dead.
Activating customized Orphan transporter.
Well, I am back at my home of Iron Forge until we one day reclaim Nomergon.
Wow, I'm a gnome.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome, let's do that. The runs for the Unencrypted Void Wing are happening right now. Follow at Friendship Mount on Twitter to find out when the runs happen. They're all raising money for various charities as well. Get your AOTC before the Unencrypted Void Wing takes flight with the Shadowlands pre-patch. And this month, Perky Pugs is working with Willwipe for achievements to raise money for the Trevor Project. They've raised over $2,000 of a $5,000 goal. And also this month, the Running of the Trolls returns for its 6th annual year to benefit the Trevor Project on Saturday, June 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 a.m. GMT. I've got a link in the show notes on where to get more information on this run, as well as where to donate. Baz and I will be streaming it as part of Baz and Fraz. And Wowhead is releasing 4 new collectible pins in their Wowhead shop, and these are limited edition. The one I will mention today is the Wowhead Pride pin. 100% of all profits through June will go directly to the Trevor Project. And they are also launching a fundraiser in support of the Trevor Project. Details to both are in the link in the show notes. Method has some cool news this week. They are hiring for quite a few positions like a partnership manager, website content lead, an on-air host, which I was very tempted to apply for, an HR specialist, and more. And Wildhead also reports that Method has acquired the Week Hour site, wago.io. It will still operate independently, but now with the backing of Method. And Blizzard has released the WoW Classic Summer Bowl Viewer's Guide. It started this past weekend, but details on the remaining events and how to watch are available with the Viewer Guide. And on Twitter, I saw that Sternbart did an amazing fully detailed map of Kalimdor. It actually reminds me of maps I saw in school. This is really, really cool. And what if you want to use Sternbart's map to look for mounts in Kalimdor? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, Pete showed me a new tool this week, the Telsa Mount Planner. I've been using Simple Armory, but I'm going to try this new one as I'm working on my mount runs. This tool is very clean and well designed from what I've seen. Our community is full of super cool people, from older gamers like Hottie Chicken and Wild Grandma who stream, to Touchpad Warrior who plays WoW on a touchpad. Well, Pete brought to my attention an interview that WoW had with Empitrex, who is a 12 out of 12 mythic tank who plays with no hands. I caught their stream this week and it was incredible. I love that games are increasingly becoming accessible to all, and this just proves it. Read the interview and check out their stream on Twitch.
This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. Take it away, Frazzle Pants.
Thank you, Scruffy. I'm excited to say I was on WoW Challenges Podcast, episode 220. I joined Lita and Zorts, and we had a great time. There were quite a few times I had Lita just probably questioning bringing me on because of all the puns, but it was great. Lita's great, Zorts is great, and I think you will love this episode. A shout out to Dizzy Dillon on Twitch who stopped by and said they want to support me but don't have the funds to do so currently. I want to emphasize that just chatting, listening, watching, sharing, any of that is showing support. I do this because I want to connect with you. Twitch subs, bits, shirts, they help me cover expenses and support my dream of one day making this be part of my main career. But just having you watch and listen is support enough. Let your friends know about the show and the streams. I want to have as many people face palm as possible. A shout out to Gossip on Twitter who enjoyed the latest episode with Razarus. A shout out to Lurch of Frank's Hot Sauce who said love today's episode. Well, loving it. I'm about halfway through right now. Oh yes, the episode of FrazlCast. Cap said it was such a fun episode of FrazlCast. Shout out to Caber who said, I have to say, Frazzly, I'm shocked you didn't pick Gnomergon as your favorite dungeon years ago. I can still hear the cries from gnomes all over the world. A sad day. I know, Caber. I'm still feeling very ashamed. I've got some news in the Twitch world. Twitch has announced that this week, watch parties are now available to Prime Video subscribers across the globe. Not all titles are available everywhere. I will try and do my best to pick titles that are, as Amazon puts it, broadly available. I know that right now Star Trek isn't available everywhere, but I am hoping that this is just part of the eventual move to global watch parties on everything. And being part of a global community, thanks to Amanda of Geek Caring, we are working with Pixel Girl Slays on Twitter and Twitch to run a charity event on July 25th. On that day, in honor of George Floyd, we will be joining a bunch of amazing streamers to raise money for Show Racism the Red Card and Black Minds Matter. I'm going to be streaming the Spaz Weston on July 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we will be raising money for the charities. From what it sounds like, there'll be people that are going to be streaming all hours of the day, so there's definitely a lot of fun things to do. So there will be plenty of content to watch. There's a website to view all the streamers involved and how to donate. And if you want to get involved with us, you can. We want to make this a day of remembrance and support. And each week, I like to thank those who have given back to the show financially. Thank you to Hottie Chicken for the gifted sub, and thank you to my Twitch subs out there. Thank you to Amanda of Geek Caring, Bo Mistress, Burkheart, Cap, Chaotic Goodish, Chris of MMO Reporter, Chromatic Sim, Crunk, Demeternoth, Epic and Sandy of Frozen Nerds, Fiesta Taka 1983, Frank's Hot Sauce Guild, Green Dragon, Grand Negus of Control Alt WoW, Arlo, Carenza, KR Soli, Lucas of Cardiac Valley, Mal, Marty of Two Nerds Maybe More, Michael of Two Nerds Maybe More in the Genome Project, Miss Susie Q, Knight, NUKHAOS, Pete of Stories on Azeroth, Pixel Girl Slays, Razarus, Rig of Charactercraft, Scissorlord, Solana, Taluin, Talonroid, Tom of 3 Extra Lives, Uncle Will 6, and Zorts the Goblin. And thank you to Cap, Mal, and Scissorlord for the bits this week. I wanted to bring to your attention that Twitch is doing something really cool for Pride Month. From June 16th to July 15th, you can earn emotes for yourself and fellow community members and help Twitch donate to charity by celebrating Pride with cheers, subs, or subscription gifts. And Twitch will be donating 10 cents to both the Trevor Project and the National Black Justice Coalition for every cheer over 300 bits, every paid subscription, and every subscription gift, up to a total contribution of $300,000 to each organization. And I found out from Dennis of Unified Streamers that all Pride emotes are permanently unlocked as well, so they will not go away like they have in the past. If you want to support the show financially, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. And if you have Twitch Prime through Amazon Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime subscription on my channel and get access to ad-free viewing, emotes, and all of your support goes to helping support this labor of love. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. Well, I am Frazly, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. There you can catch past episodes and find out many of the places where you can subscribe to this show to get the Gnome Train coming to you every single week. Well, until next week, be awesome!
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard Games, and they are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. This show is for the community, and it contains contributions from the community. The Gnome Train intro is by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth. The opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock. The Gnome Roar is by Jen of Morley Grey Podcast. And the Frazzle Pants bumper at the end is by the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional and Viral Voice Arts.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio.
Podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.
Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.
It's been fun. Farewell.